Hello guys, welcome to Better Artist. My name is Abhinandan and in this video tutorial course, I am going to teach you all about 3ds Max. In this course, we are going to learn about the user interface, how to model inside 3ds Max, how to apply materials in 3ds Max, and do lighting in 3ds Max. As well as we are also going to learn about how to animate objects inside 3ds Max. So without wasting any more time, let us go into the very first chapter of 3ds Max where I'm going to teach you about the user interface of 3ds Max. When you run 3ds Max for the first time, this is how it looks like. Now, the user interface of 3ds Max is divided into 6 different parts. On the very top, we have a menu bar. Below the menu bar, we have a toolbar. And below the toolbar, we have something called as ribbons. Below the ribbon, we have a large space with a grid in the center. This space is called as viewport. On the right hand side of the viewport, we have command panel. Below the command panel and the viewport, we have lower interface bar. These are the 6 different parts in which the user interface of 3ds Max is divided. Now let us go and discuss these parts into a little bit of details. Let us discuss about the menu bar now. On the top we have a menu bar which consists of lots of menu items. Now if you click on any of these items, you will see a menu list appearing. This menu list has a lot of menu items. And these menu items are grouped together under the main menu because they provide a similar functionality. For example, if I go to the file menu, you will see items like open, save, import, export. All these items provide a functionality which is related to the file system. Similarly, if I go into the edit menu, you will see items like move, rotate, scale, delete. All these items provide a functionality for editing purpose. Now, there are few items that are not active, and there will be few items that are active. You will also see there are few items which have a keyboard shortcut mentioned. Now, keyboard shortcuts can be very handy to work efficiently inside 3ds Max, and it can save a lot of time if you know all these keyboard shortcuts. Now, there will be few items inside the menu list which have a small triangle pointing outside or outwards. If you go to these menu items, a sub-menu will appear which has lots of other menu items as well. These menu items are grouped together and placed under the main menu, so because they serve a similar functionality. You will see these things inside other menus as well. If I go to the animation menu, there will be few items that are disabled or not active. There will be few items that are active. There will be few items with keyboard shortcuts mentioned, and there will be items with small triangle that give a sub-menu. So now that you understand how this menu are and how these menus are placed, let us now discuss about the toolbar. The toolbar is placed just below the menu bar. This toolbar has lots of tools in the form of icons. Now, whichever tool is active is shown with a blue background. Currently, this tool is active. If I select any other tool and click on it, that tool becomes active and the other tool becomes inactive. Now, all these tools are grouped together and placed in a way that they serve similar functionality and are separated by a vertical black line. For example, this group of tools serve the similar functionality. That is why they are grouped together and are separated by a vertical black line on either side. You will see this separator throughout the toolbar. There are few tools on the toolbar that have a small triangle at the right side bottom corner of them. For example, this particular tool. It means that there are other options inside this tool that you can make use of. If you press and hold this tool, the other options available for this particular tool become visible in the form of drop-down list. Similarly, for this particular tool, if you press and hold, the other options for this particular tool become available for you to choose from. Now you can choose any of these options to work with. The tools inside the toolbar are very handy, and we are going to use lots of these tools as now we work inside 3ds Max for creating and editing objects. Let us now talk about the ribbons. Now the ribbon is placed just below the toolbar. This ribbon consists of few tabs, namely Modeling, Freeform, Selection, Object Paint, and Populate. Now each and every tab has lots of options and parameters which are separated by a separator. Now on the very right hand side of the ribbon, we have a small triangle pointing upwards button. This can, if you click on this icon, the ribbon will be minimized. If you click on the same icon, the ribbon will be maximized. On the right hand side of this button, we see a small triangle button. If you click on this button, you will see a few options to select from. These options is nothing but the way the ribbon will be displayed. Currently, minimize to tabs is selected. If you select an option saying minimize to panel titles, it will only show the panel titles. If you click on panel buttons, it will show panel buttons. This is nothing but the way the ribbon is displayed. This can be very handy depending on the screen resolution that you are working on. If you are working on a smaller laptop, you might want to minimize the ribbon rather than keeping it maximized so that you can get enough space to work with viewports. But if you are working on a larger screen, say 24-inch monitor or a 30-inch monitor, you can maximize the ribbon and still have enough space to work inside the viewport. If you want to remove the ribbon completely, you can go to this particular tool that says Show Ribbon. Click on the tool. Now the ribbon disappears completely. If you want to bring back the ribbon, click on the same icon again and the ribbon appears again. Now let's go and talk about the viewport. Below the ribbons, we have a large space with a grid in the center, which is called as viewports. In this area, we create, edit, modify objects, and we create large scenes inside 3ds Max. We are going to spend a lot of time inside viewport creating different types of objects in the future chapters. And we are going to learn about viewports and navigating through the viewports in the next chapter. On the right hand side of the viewport, we have command panel. Now this command panel is made up of 6 different tabs. Those are the Create tab, Modify tab, Hierarchy tab, Motion tab, Display tab, and Utilities tab. Now each of these tabs consists of rollouts, and the rollouts have buttons and other options. Now you can maximize or minimize the rollout by clicking on the small triangle on the left of the rollout, or you can maximize a rollout by clicking on the same small triangle. If you want to position a rollout or change the position of a rollout, you can click on the small dotted icon, press and drag wherever you want the rollout to be displayed, and release the mouse button so that that particular rollout will be at the position that you want. This way, you can change the design of the command panel as per your needs and access the tools inside that rollout. Below the viewport and the command panel, we have lower interface bar. The lower interface bar consists of a time slider, a track bar, a scripting area, a status bar, a prompt line. In the center, we have XYZ position parameters. Now these parameters show the current position of the mouse pointer or the current position of the object selected inside the 3D space. If I move the mouse pointer, you will notice the number inside the boxes starts changing. So currently it shows the position of my mouse pointer inside a 3D space. On the right hand side of the position parameters, we have animation controls, which we will use while making the animation or creating animation. On the right hand side of the animation controls, we have key controls, which also help us while creating animation. So we are going to make use of the key controls and the animation controls when we start learning about animation. On the right hand side corner of the user interface, we have viewport navigation tools. These tools allow us to navigate through the viewport. Now that you know the different elements by which the 3ds Max is made, let us now see how you can adjust all these elements. If you want to change the width of the command panel, go to the edge of the command panel and drag it to the left hand side. Now you can see the width of the command panel is increased. This way you can use the extra panel that has been created to use the command panel. You can also go back and press and decrease the width of the command panel by dragging it to your right. If you want to change the position of any of the elements inside the 3ds Max, you need to go to the two dotted lines that have been provided near each of these elements. For example, on the top of the command panel, you will see two dotted lines. On the left hand side of the ribbon, you will also see similar dotted lines. At the toolbar as well, there are two dotted lines. At the bottom, near the lower interface bar, you will see the two dotted lines as well. These dotted lines can be used to change the position of these particular elements. For example, if you want to change the position of the command panel, go towards the dotted line, click on it, drag it out. Now you will have the command panel available in the floating space. Now you can place this command panel wherever you want and keep working inside the viewport inside your scene. If you want to change the command panel and place it to the left hand side of the user interface, click on the command panel and take it towards your left hand side. You will see a rectangular block, blue rectangular block appearing. Once this appears, release your mouse button and you will see the command panel is docked to the left hand side of the user interface. Similarly, you can also drag the toolbar from these dotted lines. And now you can have the toolbar wherever you want. If you want the toolbar to be placed at the bottom of the user interface, click on the toolbar, drag it to the bottom of the user interface. When you see a blue rectangular block, release the mouse button and you will see the toolbar is docked at the bottom of the user interface. Similarly, you can also go to any of the menus and you will see the small dotted lines or the dotted lines appearing at the top of the menu. You can click on the dotted line and you will see that the entire menu is accessible to you in a floating space. Now you can choose to place this menu wherever you want while you work inside your viewport and make use of all the controls that are available to you. Once you are done with it, you can close the menu this way. Or you can open multiple menus as per your needs. And keep working inside the viewport. Once you no longer use these menus, you can close them. If you want to go back to the original state of the user interface, you can do that by going to the top right corner of the user interface where you will see workspaces. Click on the default. At the bottom of the menu, you will see reset to default state. Click on the reset to default state and the 3ds Max goes back to its original default state of the user interface. That is all for this chapter. In the next chapter, I'm going to teach you about the viewport and how to navigate through the viewport.